Hello, hello. I'm gonna put this hat back on. I thought that it was giving me a little bit of a shadow, but it's Stephanie here from Trade Travel and Learn, of course. And I wanted to share some mindset thoughts today. We're going to be talking about mental attitude, a positive mental attitude, as well with leveraging energy and the energy that's around you. So I'm actually in my hotel room here in Bogota, Colombia, like they say in Espanol. And we came down for a conference. There was a big group of us, and it was fire. Like it was just absolutely fire. But the most important thing I wanted to share about it was having a positive mental attitude. Now, a positive mental attitude is something that is a choice. And so often, we feel like we have to come up with, reading tons of books or doing affirmations, or like you can make a laundry list of different activities that you actually want, that you're choosing to do to try to change your mindset, right? And so with a positive mental mindset or attitude, it is a choice, right? Because you're going to face challenges daily, but you get to choose if those challenges are going to be an opportunity for you to learn, or if you're going to allow them to be something that pulls you down and helps and allows you to create that victim type mindset. So I'm in Bogota. I speak Spanish, not 100% fluently. Do the Colombian people understand me 100%? Probably not. And I came down with about 20 other people from Canada. And, there was a little bit of a language barrier for sure. And what I saw, it was just the attitudes of my business partners and just how positive they are around the situation. And I just want to like uplift that their mindset and their willingness to just kind of push hard. And coming to a Spanish speaking conference when you don't speak Spanish and you're relying on a translator, like you have to have a positive mental attitude for that. You have to gear up in your mind to tell yourself, "Hey, I'm going to be flying on an airplane, maybe 10, 12 hours, 14 hours. I'm going to be arriving in a country that speaks predominantly Spanish, and I'm going to be attending a conference to better my life in the Spanish language." And having that positive mental attitude, just like that mindset, is a choice, right? And so there's a lot of choices that we can make in life, but choosing to show up positive regardless. And when you are in your home country, in your home city, you have a lot of comfort, right? You know how quick you get into your big routines, and you can just like quickly go home. You can figure things out. You're in your routine, you're in your habits. But when you stretch yourself and you immerse yourself into a different experience, and you're allowing yourself to keep that positive mental attitude, I think it's just like a choice in choosing to show up daily, right? And so it was crazy. We were in this conference with like 7,000 people, most Spanish speakers. And I just saw like their energy, their hunger, their enthusiasm, their energy for life. And I just think, wow, right? They are a culture that is so hungry for more. They're willing to hustle, grind, work hard. And I think that as Canadians, or if you're from the States, I can't speak specifically about you because I'm not from there, but I think that we are, as a society, a little bit soft. Yes, I said it. We are soft, right? So maybe we're like that jello, like, we like to say that we're like hard and we're like, like focused and geared in and all that. But in the end, when our life starts to give us challenges, or when we run up to things that are just like not the norm or what we're not used to, we start to like shake like that jello, right? Like, we're like, yeah, I'm super strong. I faced some kind of conflict, and now I'm saying to myself, like, oh, sorry, like I'm not going to be able to make it, or you just turn into like a flake kind of mindset. And I find that tendency a lot as a Canadian, and seeing and working with other Canadians. And it's nothing out of disrespect that I say this. It's just like a realization that we truly have a silver spoon. We are being spoon fed baby pablum. I think that's the word. I haven't said it for years, but you know that like that puree that your mom applesauce, or the mashed potatoes that you just threw in your hair, right? That's us as a society. We've become so soft, and we're just so comfortable, and we're just used to settling. And here I'm coming to a country where you know they don't know. Some of them don't even know where their next meal is going to be coming from, right? Like their whole livelihood is like on their back, as they're grinding. I bought this hat today in Bogota, actually. We went on a, what is it called? We went on a gondola up the mountain, and it's called Monserrate. Oh, that's a really bad pronunciation. Let me try that again. Uh, Montserrate. Okay, maybe that's a little bit better. Um, it's I'm saying it so badly, and I know that my boyfriend's over there listening to me, and he's just like trying not to like peep in. But okay, so we went up on a gondola up to the top of the mountain, and I bought this hat, and I bought it for like $30 US, and it's probably worth like 10. A taxi ride for us was like super cheap, and I bought this for like $30. So like super expensive for in Bogota. But, they're willing to like hustle, work hard, and serve you, and just like another level, and another standard of class. It's just like crazy. And I think like as a Canadian, what we can learn from different cultures as we immerse ourselves into different experiences and different environments that allow us to flourish and grow, we can learn a lot from that. And some of my biggest takeaways is like, even when you're at your worst, you can still choose to have, you can still choose to show up, and you can still choose to show up with a good attitude. And like it was amazing. It was awesome. Like it was such a good experience. And when you look at people who are so energetic, they're so motivated, they're just so elevated to want to improve their life, and they have that hunger. I just think as a Canadian, I'm like, what excuse do I have? What excuse do I have? Like, I grew up having 3 meals a day. Some people haven't. I grew up with a mom that was a stay-at-home mom. Like, not everyone can say that these days. I grew up being able to do tons of activities with a mom that was like pretty much like a chauffeur for 3 kids, bringing us everywhere across the city in different activities and arts and science, and in in the physical realm, sports, leisure, faith-filled stuff. And it's crazy. And I think um the question I'd ask you, and I ask myself, is like, how can you leverage that energy, right? Like when you get in an environment like that, and you see like 7,000 Colombians, or like Latin American people. It was a mix. There was people in from Spain. There was people from Ecuador. There was people from Mexico. There was people from Guatemala. Yeah, there was lots of people. Peru, probably. Anyway, so there was a lot of people there, and it was all Spanish speaking. But when you see 7,000 people, and you're in an environment, you don't even know the language. Let's say you don't know the language, you know zero Spanish. Maybe you know like baño, and like hola. and like service, like the three words that Canadians know. Uh, but let's say that you're in that environment and you just see people that are celebrating their future because they know that they have found the golden ticket or whatever other reference you want to use. They have found the golden egg, an opportunity, something that can just blow their mind, their lifestyle, allow them to live through their values. And I think, how can I leverage that energy? Like, maybe I don't speak their language. I have no idea what they're saying. How can I leverage that energy, right? And so I think we can do those in a couple different ways. Number one, how do you environment that you are in. When you walk into a room, is it like, oh, or is it like, oh, right? Like, do people get excited when they see you walk into a room? Or are they like, oh no, I got to deal with this today, right? Like, what kind of energy do you share with others? Do you do you allow do other people get excited and motivated and just like springboard off of like you? Because I can tell you, when for me, like this past weekend, being around like-minded, value-driven, business focused, faith and family focused people who have a vision to change their life, in the network marketing industry, they add value to others and they uplift others and they help others. And it's through that uplifting and that helping that that creates like just like a nourishing environment. And so that would be the second thing, like, you know, how do you show up when you walk in a room, right? What's your energy level in? If you just had the most shittiest day of your life, like when you walk in the room, could they tell by your energy? Could they tell by your face? Could they tell? You know, there's something about being vulnerable and, excuse me, being vulnerable, is can be a power and it can be helpful to connect with people. It can help build a relationship. But vulnerability should only be given to those people who have earned it, right? Otherwise, it might look like you're looking for sympathy, um, which you're probably not. If you're going to be sharing your vulnerabilities, your weaknesses with others, they should be people that deserve to have that knowledge, that deserve to have that door open to them about that situation. So what I would say is, when you show up in a room and you just had like the crappiest day of your life, it's not like you're faking yourself out if you show up and you pretend to be happy. Because ultimately it's a choice and you choose your attitude. You choose a positive mental attitude. Am I adding to this environment? Am I multiplying in this environment, or am I subtracting or dividing in this environment? And if you are adding, maybe you're just being that positive light in the room. But if you're multiplying in the environment, that means you are like adding value to other people. You're uplifting other people. Maybe you're edifying people and recognizing people for their hard work. Maybe you know that somebody's been through a certain situation, but you choose to uplift them or to edify and say, you know what? This person didn't have to be here, but I acknowledge them for their like dedication, their hard work, their commitment, whatever it is, right? And so we can choose to uplift people. So how do you show up, right? How do you show up daily in different environments? I think it can be how you present yourself, Do you make eye contact with people? Let me tell you about this eye contact thing. Okay. Since COVID, and I don't even know if I should say that on YouTube, but pretty much since all this changes, people are so timid to talk to each other, to connect with people. And we have reached like a society that is so disconnected with each other, but so overstimulated from our devices. So we can spend 3 hours on a phone scrolling social media, connecting with like people you don't even know on the social on the internet, but then be sitting at a table with somebody that, number one, could teach you something, maybe that has some more knowledge than you, has had different experiences than you, that you could learn from. And the hard work of that is figuring out what questions you can ask them that can get them started, right? Like, if I have a cat, right? And if I start telling you about my cat and you have no interest in cats, conversation's not going to go for too far, right? But if I find out that you're super into football, okay, well, then I can talk about football, right? And it's like, that's the thing. So maybe I can learn that, okay, maybe you were played for the plan and what it took and what your mindset was around practice and difference between practice and performing in a game like situations, right? So, choosing to just show up in every environment, and um, even the person that you think is like, I just got to go on to this one too, because okay, as a Canadian, I'm living now in Vancouver and I've been there for 3 years, and people just size each other up on the streets. They like look at each other and it's like, I've gone for coffee with people and it's like one and done. Like I'm trying to make a new friend. It's a one and done. Like I didn't meet their standards and like peace out, never see you again. And um, that's fair. I get that. But we size people up about like, what can he or she do for me? And I think we have this mindset backwards. So I'm in Colombia and I see the servant heart. People are like trying to help me out here, there, and everywhere. Like, yeah, like some of them are hustling hard because they just want to make a buck. But there's the other side of it, like just like the service, like, like our taxi drivers, like, you know what? You go into your restaurant and eat your supper. I'll just be sitting out here waiting for you. Right. And like, it's not that he had to do that, he was choosing to do that because, um, it's just like a one up on how he can, like, add value and how he can be better than other taxi drivers, right? And how he can serve others. But there's also that hustle and grind thing that, like, "Hey, I need to feed my family tonight. Hey, I have 3 kids and, I'm putting them through school and I need the money," right? And so I think that we can really focus on that as a society, is not the judgment of like, okay, well, they have like, um, they don't have the finances, they don't have the finances. Maybe you're not interested in having a relationship with them or dating them or, um, yeah, those are huge. Finances for dating, for example. I've been talking to a couple girlfriends in the city, and it's like and men also, and there's just double standards. It's just like, they're sizing people up based off of like what they do, right? And I think like, no, it's like, where's your heart at? Where are your values at? And how, like, you are a human being and I can respect you and I can pay you respect by acknowledging you, by saying hi on the street, by making eye contact with you, giving you a smile. I can do those things and those are free. It doesn't cost anything. But, your smile or your like asking somebody how their day is can make a huge difference. So we can choose how we show up, and even people that you think that, you know, if you want to take it one-sided and say like, you know what, that person could not add any value to me, or they can't serve me. we can still think, how can I grow through this person? How can I learn? And just be a forever learner, and just having a genuine curiosity in like people's stories, where they're from, what their goals, their aspirations are, like what allowed them to get to where they are at, whether it's the positive or negative. Some people just need like somebody, like another ear to listen to, right? And so we can add value in that way. And so why I talk about this is I think I think we can get really focused in on like the superficial, and I think it's really important to get rooted in who you are, but always be like a forever learner and wanting to like add value to others, learn about who they are as a person. And it's crazy like what you can learn from a person. Like I was having supper with one of my business partners today, and I was like, you know what? This woman is a fantastic role model of like consistency, persistency, discipline, um, hard work. And I'm sitting beside her and I'm thinking, what can I like? What question can I ask that I can like that I can learn from her, right? Like I'm humble enough to be able to to be able to listen and learn from others and listen to different perspectives, because I'm a free thinker. I think for myself, and I can make choices for myself, and I can listen to people who have different opinions than me and not get offended, and I can learn from them. And this young lady, she ended up sharing with me a handful of different ideas for like audios, books to listen to. Um, and that would not have happened if I had not like thought, like I'm at a dinner with a whole bunch of people, like, yeah, like they're acquaintances and business partners, but like I don't know them from a personal level, but how can I get to know them from a personal level? Or how can I get to know how they think, right? So when you're having a positive mental attitude, you just got to think about like how can you make the best of every situation. And I definitely am not an example of this 100% of the time, and it's something that I'm learning. So I'm not coming on here to like preach what I know. I'm preaching like I'm not preaching. I'm just sharing about what I'm learning, because I think I'm always going to be a forever learner, and I don't know the answers to everything, and nor do I want to be the person that tells anyone like what they should do. I just want to offer like what I'm learning about, and if it adds value to you, then great. So show up, decide what kind of energy you want to provide in that room. Oh, I want to go on one other topic here, and excuse me for all this kind of like I'm freelancing here. I'm not on a script or anything like that. Just straight stuff talk. And when you show up in an environment, you get to choose how you show up and what energy you want to have. And I know that like a lot of our culture is really intertwined in like entertainment, connections, like with food, drinks, whatever, right? But I just want to speak about how you can choose to show up, how you want to choose with whatever energy you want, right? You don't have to have like a a handful of drinks to be able to say like to have the energy to be able to be more talkative in order to have great conversations with people. Like that is also a choice. You get to choose that. So you can choose your energy before you walk in that room. And you probably do, right? Like if on your drive to a restaurant or an event or wherever, let's say like you're late, you're in traffic, other drivers are being idiots, and um I don't know, maybe your car doesn't have air conditioning right now. Like you could just name like the number of things that could like gear you up to be like, "Ugh, I don't even want to go to this anymore. I'm not in the mindset to be here." And when you have that, when you're walking into a room and when you're deciding to show up, it comes out in like your energy, how you speak, your facial expressions. And so you can choose your energy and how you want to choose to show up. And you don't have to wait for other people to provide their like explosive energy for you to want to like join forces. Like you can be the initiator of that. So if in your head you're like, you know what, I'm going to go to this activity, this event, this restaurant, I'm going to show up, I'm going to have a great attitude, I'm going to have a ton of energy, and it's going to be fantastic. And if you just have that mindset before you walk in, everything is going to be different for you, right? Like maybe like the food's going to taste that much more better. Maybe like you're the one that initiates the dancing. Maybe you're the one that's connecting the people to other people and making sure that no one's like the people around you are kind of included in the conversation. Like you get to choose how you want to show up, and you get to choose whether um you're going to be a multiplier or like additioner, and you're just going to add to that environment, or if you're going to be a subtractor where people are like, oh, I'm so glad they left, right? Like you don't want to be that person. Anyways, so here was just some mindset on a positive mental attitude. It's a choice. You get to choose how you show up, and also leveraging energy, because I think you can do it in any environment. And so I'll just kind of conclude here. Just I'm coming up to about 27 minutes, but coming to Colombia, I've learned a lot, and I'm super grateful to just be around like-minded, positive individuals. It's like really like a breath of fresh air. So the people I traveled with is who I'm speaking of. But then I'm also coming across and meeting tons of people from the events, the activities, just like the day to day of being out here in Colombia. And you get to choose how you show up, right? And so, it's like when you can see people who have less, but they're just like willing to serve and like are just selfless. I just think like there's no excuses as to like, you know, where you are and where you want to be. We were fed a silver spoon. We have so much opportunities available to us, and we need to decide to take action. And I think that taking action also looks like choosing your environment. So you can manipulate, I don't know if that's like the right word, but you can like adjust your environment. You can be like the thermometer, you could be the thermostat actually. And you can like change the temperature of an environment. You can help that, right? But you can also choose which environments you go into. So some environments might not be helpful for you. Um, some environments might not be healthy for you, right? If you're putting your values on the side in order to go into certain environments, my question for you is why, right? Because your values and what you stand for um, really create your character, your reputation, um, and how people see you as an individual. And I think that it's super important. So making that decision of like how you can live through your value might mean making different decisions and making different choices. So, as much as we can have a positive mental attitude, we can choose our attitude, we can choose to show up, we can choose to affect our environment in a positive way, we can choose to leverage our energy, we can choose to leverage others' energy, but we can also just look at changing our environment and the types of environments that we decide to go into, right? And I'll just give you an example here. When you are making a big change in your life, in whatever situation it is, whether it's financially, relational, you want to make a big behavioral change. Sometimes you need to insulate and isolate. So when you're insulating, you're surrounding yourself with people that got your back. They have similar values to you and they know that you they've got your back, you got their back, right? And you're insulating yourself. Sometimes there's a period of isolation where you have to take out that which does no longer add value to you or that which no longer serves you so that you can grow stronger. So if you were addicted to some kind of drugs, alcohol, whatever, you might need to isolate yourself from an environment where you're around people who are doing those habits that you decided to make a decision to stop, right? And that isolation is up to you of how long you choose to do that, right? Because you need to build yourself up to have that strength, not only the strength, the discipline, but also building the habit of not doing it. And then recognizing your weaknesses because some people have, um, it's like, oh, if I go and drink, I know I'm going to have that smoke, right? That could be an example, or if like, I know if I go out and I drive, I know that I'm going to be drinking driving home. Like those kind of things, right? And so those are just some example, but it could also be like the people. So your environment is really what you make of it. And I just draw on those as a couple examples because I think that it's super important to decide what stage you are at life in life. How did I say that again? You have to choose which stage you are at in life. And yes, you can be a changer in your environment. It's not easy. It's not easy to swim up current, right? Um, it's not easy, but it is possible. And so you can make that decision whether you are going to train for swimming up current, but it's not necessarily easy to just throw yourself in right off the hop. Okay, so before I just keep ranting, but um, if this added value to you, just add a like here, subscribe. I'm going to be making a couple more videos on my trip here, but here's my mindset around making a video. My mindset is I want to add value to other people. Um, I want to continue to grow and I want to be able to help other people who want to help themselves. And so, whatever arena that is, whether it's like you needing the mindset for health, you need the mindset for fitness, whether you need the mindset for your financial health, whether you need the mindset for relationship health, like um, I specifically am on a journey of change and recovery from a car accident and a brain injury. And so, all my journey of like learning and growing, I want to be able to share and add value to others. And I also want to connect with other business people, leaders, just people who are very rooted in what they're doing. And I'd love to connect with them more and also be able to bounce things off of each other. So, um, if I can help one person, that makes a huge that for me, that's a huge thing. But I know that if I can help one person who has an impact on many people, that can make a flood of effect. And that's what I'm talking about of swimming upstream and changing your environment. So thank you so much and peace.